have news that Apple is going to raise the prices of their iPhones. Now, remember, this upcoming iPhone 18 launch is going to be a split launch. So the 18 Pro, 18 Pro Max, and iPhone Ultra are going to be launched in September, and then 18 Plus and or Air in this time next year. I think maybe in May, something like that, 6 months after September. So Apple's going to split their Pro and base models 6 months apart and have a launch every 6 months. Pro, regular, Pro, regular, Pro, regular. And we got word that Apple is raising the cost. And it goes back to the beginning of the show. Well, why are they raising the cost? Well, Apple likes to keep that same sales point and a manufacturing strategy where if it costs them $500 to construct a device, they're going to ask $1,000 manufacturer suggested retail price, MSRP. They like to double their cost. So get this. The price of the base iPhone 18 Pro, not the Pro Max, not the Ultra, obviously, the base model, base storage model, which is going to be 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, is going to be $1,399. $1,400. So we're not talking bumping it up from $1,000 to $1,100, which would be a $100 increase. No, we're not talking about that. That would be a minimal increase. We're talking an increase of $400 over last year's previous model, and that's across the board. And well, knowing Apple, that price increase is going to go up even more with each better model, with each higher storage variant is probably going to go up even higher, because you know why? Memory costs more, and if it costs Apple more, it's definitely going to be costing you more if you're interested in buying one of these devices. Now, if you get yours at a carrier, remember, this is the base model, $1,399. That's going to take actually, what is that per month? So that's going to take your monthly cost. Let's just say you go to a T-Mobile and you get yours on a plan. Well, a lot of times now they're going to do, get of course, see, for the carriers, I don't know what they're going to do, because in the past, when a device was $1,000, like the previous iPhone 17 Pro, they would give you, the retail price would be $1,000, right? And like T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon would have these deals where, especially T-Mobile, where you trade in any device in any condition, get $1,000 credit towards the iPhone 17 Pro, and that would essentially cancel the cost of the phone. They would just credit you if it was $32 per month, they would credit you $32 a month, so it would zero out on your bill. Is T-Mobile going to give you $1,400 off the cost of an iPhone 18 Pro? Again, and that's the base model. What if you want to get a 512? It's going to be $1,599. Is T-Mobile going to say, hey, $1,500 off, $1,599 off the iPhone 18 Pro, 512 gig with a trade-in of any device in any condition? Because then, see, that puts strain on T-Mobile, because T-Mobile has to eat that cost as well. And what does that mean for the mobile network subscribers of T-Mobile? Well, if T-Mobile has to eat that cost, meaning if they have to take a loss handing out these iPhones for trade-ins for shitty phones, guess what? They don't want to take that loss. So what are they going to do to their paying consumer, their monthly paying consumer? They're going to raise the price on you and me to offset that loss that they're taking from handing out all these iPhones. So it always comes back on the consumer. Trust me, if you're a publicly traded company, it's all about the numbers. It's all about your revenue. It's all about price per share. It's all about, can you hit your quarterly expectations? They don't want to miss. They don't want to take a loss, because it'll come back to them in the long run. So we are always the people that end up getting screwed in the end. So you can see how the trickle down effect always comes back down to us. And that may not affect you directly. What if you say, well, I don't want to buy an iPhone. What do I care? Okay, so what if you want to get a Samsung? What if you want to upgrade in November and you want to get the newest, I don't know, S26 Ultra, right? Well, they're not just going to raise the cost and raise the prices for those of y'all that have an iPhone. No, it's going to go to everybody. Whether you have an iPhone, an Android, whether you have a hotspot, whether you have home internet service, everybody. So you can see how the trickle down effect really hits us in the pocket, hits us hard. So we're the ones that have to suffer here. But let's see. So roughly $1,000 a month. How many months does T-Mobile do it by? Is it 2 or 3 years? 24 months or 36 months? I can't remember. So 1,000 divided by 24 would be $41 a month. 1,000 divided by 36 months would be $27 a month. So what is $1,400 divided by 24 months is $58. So it jumps up from $41 to $58 per month. That's a huge increase. Wow. And that's just for the base model. What if you want a 512 gig, huh? You're going to be paying, who knows, 1,600. I mean, this is getting crazy. Now, this is bad news, not just for Apple people, because we all know Samsung loves to copy Apple. The only reason why Samsung did not increase the price of their S26 series model this year is because Apple didn't raise prices on their iPhones this year. Oh, Apple's not raising prices. We can't raise our prices. They love to copy Apple. Essentially, seems like everything that they do, even when it comes to pricing. And now, guess what? Now this gives Samsung the okay to raise prices on the very next Galaxy. Now, we knew this was kind of happening. We just got word that Apple was going to raise prices here. I think, Thursday or Friday, that news leaked. But now it's essentially given Samsung's going to raise their prices. Now, I don't think it's going to be by $400. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will be. Carl Pei did say, which we're going to get to his quote here in a minute. He said price for RAM for the memory is now the single most expensive component in the phone. It's so expensive, in fact, that it's even more expensive than the CPU and the display combined. So that just goes to show you how insane these prices are getting. It's getting so expensive, in fact, just in the entire industry, that a lot of these memory makers, you remember DDR4 RAM? Well, guess what? A lot of these memory companies are ramping up LPDDR4 RAM again, and we moved past that years ago. Well, guess what? People would rather have LPDDR4 RAM than no RAM. So this is a major issue. Again, do you remember that story? Oppo said, or there was that story, they didn't say this, but there's a story out that says a lot of the Chinese manufacturers might skip their ultra class phones this upcoming year because it is too expensive. Remember, they're putting ultra components, the most expensive components, in those devices. The price would be too astronomically high. They would outprice themselves, meaning, okay, so the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is essentially $1,400. Well, guess what? What if just to make a profit, they would have to price it around $2,400? Who's going to buy a $2,400 phone? Now, of course, a couple people will, but that eliminates 95% of their customer base, meaning they just can't sell enough phones. Like Oppo, for example, on the X10 Ultra, if it was priced at $2,400, $1,000 price increase, they don't think they will be able to sell enough phones to make a profit. And that story was saying they're just going to skip making their ultra class phones next year because nobody's going to buy them. They won't make a profit. What's the point of manufacturing it if you're going to take a loss on it? It just doesn't make sense, literally and figuratively. If you're and I've said this a few months ago, if you need a new computer, if you need a new laptop, hell, even if you need a new phone, it's best to buy one right now, because the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be, meaning the more expensive it's going to get. Now, I believe this is the exact reason why the prices for used phones have not dropped. I honestly believe, have any of y'all noticed that? If you've been looking, because I search for used phones every single day, and um, if you've done any pricing on used phones, the prices have not dropped. It's crazy because Apple now is going to be in a good position to compare to everyone else. The pricing of Apple will be more affordable than someone like Samsung. Yeah. And putting all of these stories together that I've done, that I've focused on this specifically over the last 6 months. Remember, Apple is hoarding memory. Apple went to TSMC, Apple went to Intel, Apple went to Samsung and bought mass quantities of memory for bulk pricing. And they did that 6 months ago. And since then, the prices have doubled since then. So Apple made a very strategic move to buy up as much memory as they can for their upcoming next couple of launches to save them money. And so they won't, well, for two reasons: to save them money and to put their competitors in a tough spot, because now their competitors can't buy memory. In the memory that is available, they're going to have to pay like quadruple the price. So y'all know I love to shit on Apple. Very strategic move from Apple. The upcoming iPhone foldable should just be called iPhone Fold. I know. iPhone Ultra should replace the Pro Max. I agree. I don't know why they do these stupid things. Y'all know it always drives me crazy when Snapdragon is always changing their names of their flagship CPUs. Google changes the name, uses stupid names for colors. I'm like, just call it freaking white, black, blue. Why are they calling the iPhone Ultra iPhone Ultra? It's a foldable, right? iPhone Fold. Well, they don't want to copy Samsung. They have to do their own thing. Samsung, speaking of them, why are they changing the names of their foldables? Their Samsung's new Z Fold 8 is going to be called the Z Fold 8 Ultra. And their passport style foldable is going to be called the Z Fold 8. They're going to drop that Z Fold 8 wide name. It's just going to be Z Fold 8. I don't understand. Keep a name so people can't know exactly what that product is. It's easy to find, easy to search for. I think they outsmart themselves, quite honestly, on these name changes. They're outsmarting themselves. Like, they're overthinking this. Make it simple for the consumer to remember your product, because even me that has look, I certainly don't brag about my knowledge or intelligence, but even I, who have a above average memory in the tech world and intelligence, have a hard time remembering all this all this stuff. Even I get stumped up every now and then. I'm like, wait, what is it called? Yeah, like my hardest thing to remember is the Snapdragon ones. I'm like, wait, what? When did they change the name? And which one was that called? Got me looking dumb out here when they're the dumb ones. For European global models, T-Mobile is the best case scenario. AT&T and Verizon will probably give you headaches. I would go for T-Mobile only. Yeah, if you're going to be using any phone outside of America, you got to be using T-Mobile. I mean, it's not even a question. It's not even like, well, maybe I can get away with, how the OnePlus 16 is going to be China only next year. Well, what if you want to import it? What if they sell them on GiveTop? They probably will. What if you want to import it? Well, I don't suggest you use AT&T or Verizon, right? T-Mobile's the way to go. I saw somebody online saying they used... I was just bragging about my memory. Now I can't remember. Anyway, somebody was trying to use Mint Mobile with a phone that they imported. I was trying to remember exactly what phone it was, but it was an import phone. Then and they said Mint Mobile wouldn't work. So I think T-Mobile's the best way to go for sure. 2030. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because you're right. It was 2030. I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars worth of memory. Very smart. And it takes a lot for me to acknowledge them doing something good. And hey, you got to take hats off to whoever finagled, whoever negotiated or came up with that strategy. You got to give them a raise or something, because whoever that team of people that came up with the strategy, hey, let's buy enough memory for the next 4 or 5 years. I'm sure at first people were like, what? Why would you do that? Well, hello. Next year, it's already doubled or quadrupled since they did this. Who's to say it's going to double and quadruple again? So this move will save them billions and billions of dollars. And remember, it puts their competition in a bad spot, because now they're scrambling. Oh my God, there's no memory for our new. Oh, what are we going to do? So it was a kill two birds with one stone type of scenario. So very, very smart move by Apple.